CBC Morning Live, and this is the scene. It began just a millisecond ago. Black smoke from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, which means after 2 votes this morning, the Cardinals have not yet arrived on that 2/3 majority necessary to choose the successor to Pope Francis. They had 2 votes this morning. There will be 2 more to come. But there's the black smoke. I just want to bring in another live angle because you can see how they've set up big screens throughout St. Peter's Square for the tens of thousands of people who are assembled. And they, too, are watching what you're watching on your screen at home. They're watching the live cameras trained on that smoke and the chimney, and they too gathered to, they hope, see the white smoke that will indicate there's a new pope, but they are seeing black smoke as well. So black smoke last night after the first vote, sort of the introductory vote, as so many of these 133 cardinals do not know each other, are getting to know each other, discussing things, thinking upon the qualities and experiences and strengths and qualities and characteristics that they are thinking about and want to see in the next pope, getting to know the introduction. And then the second 2 votes this morning, when we now see the culmination of that, the black smoke rising. I'm going to send it back to our location in St. Peter's Square. Adrian Arsenault, our chief correspondent, and David Perlich, our CBC News Vatican analyst. Adrian, the black smoke once again.
Now it's getting interesting. Now it's getting interesting, Heather. So that means there have been 3 rounds of voting. They're whittling it down. We can only imagine. We've been staring at the lists of papabile, the ones who are considered the front runners, looking at what is possible. David Perlich and I think David, not to speak for you, but that was not a huge reaction from the crowd, in part because I think they're early today. I think we weren't necessarily expecting, after being late yesterday.
No, exactly. After last night took quite a while. So this would indicate that both ballots this morning, the second and the third ballots of this conclave, have resulted in no election, no 2/3 majority. So black smoke earlier than everyone thought.
And then we were just looking at a shot. You can see a drone above the chimney on your shot there on the pool feed, which is what we're getting from all the broadcasters contributing. There has been a shot of that drone flying over the chimney, and why that's interesting, and you can see it here now, is that you see that the crowds aren't huge here this morning. They aren't huge. They were big for the first vote. And you watch tonight. Tonight it's going to be wild in here, I think, because that's when they're going to have lunch now. The Cardinals are going to break away and sit and talk, and then when they come back, I feel like this is where they roll up their sleeves. And interestingly, Heather, for whatever it's worth, David and I were looking at the front runners, or the people perceived to be the front runners. They're pretty young, which I think is and we're talking about, of the, let's say, top 5 people and lists that we've compiled, that various media outlets have compiled, you're looking at around the age of 70, which for a potential pope, that's pretty young, David?
That's pretty young. I mean, 70 to, say, 76 in there, life expectancies were different 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when some of these rules were put in. And it gives it a very different dynamic now that people can live to be quite a lot older. So, of course, somebody elected at the age of 75 could live to be 93. So that gives it a much longer papacy. One thing I want to pick up on, you mentioned that they're going to go to lunch now. You can bet that this lunch is really important.
How so?
That the conversations after 3 ballots that have not elected a pope, the names on this last ballot, they'll probably be getting a much clearer understanding of who could be getting towards that 2/3 number and who's just not in the running for it. So the conversations that will go on at this lunch will probably be extremely important to the outcome of the conclave.
And will there be someone who is perhaps in 3 votes has not risen very much, who is looked to for signals to say it's okay?
Absolutely. This is where, if somebody was a third place candidate but had a larger number of votes, could literally just say, look, it's not going to be me, I can't do it, so please consider someone else.
Interesting. And the job description, again, that we're looking at, healthy,
yeah. Diplomatic experience, pastoral experience on the ground. You want to have somebody that has no scandals, somebody who is an exceptional manager who can run the curial government, somebody who has some financial sense, somebody who's sound on doctrine. There's a lot of criteria that you need to meet.
That whittles it down there, Heather. I mean, 133 people, but when you start to apply that criteria, particularly the charismatic criteria, the capacity to reach out to people, you certainly whittle it down.